neither the Alabama loss or the Penn State loss impact their college football playoff hopes one bit. Both are still alive and well, still both have really good chances to make the college football playoff. I'll explain why. I'll start with Penn State. They go on the road, they lose to Iowa 23-20. Despite the loss, Penn State's season is all in front of them. Like the thing is here, losing to a Big Ten West team when Penn State's in the Big Ten East, this doesn't impact their chances of making the Big Ten title game at all. Because guess what? They still have to take care of business, win or lose against Iowa. They were still going to have to take care of business in the Big Ten East. You still have to beat Ohio State. You still got to beat Michigan. You still got to beat Michigan State. Then they can get their rematch with the Hawkeyes in Indianapolis in the Big Ten title game. I mean, win or lose, the East is where they're going to have to win their games and take care of business. You still have to beat the Buckeyes whether you win this game or not. You still got to beat Michigan. You still got to beat Michigan State here. Those were truly the three games that will define Penn State's season, not this Iowa loss. And you know what? Watching this game on Saturday, there's nothing that tells you that they can't run the table, that they can't beat Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State here in the next 8-9 weeks of the season. And the one caveat has to be, obviously, is that their quarterback, Sean Clifford, is back and is healthy. If not, season's over. Penn State's not going to beat Ohio State. They probably won't beat Michigan and maybe won't even beat Michigan State. But if Sean Clifford is back, and that Ohio State game's at the end of the month, they have a bye this week, they play Illinois, then they get Ohio State. So you have 3 weeks or so to get Sean Clifford healthy enough for whatever injury he suffered. We have no idea what it is. We have no idea the severity. But if he is back, if he is healthy, for me, there is no doubt that Penn State is more than capable of running the table the rest of the way. Because let's call it for what it is. That game, when he was healthy, when Sean Clifford was on the field for the first quarter and a half or so against Iowa, he carved up their defense. He carved them up. Sure, he threw 2 interceptions, 2 bad turnovers, neither of which of the throws should have been made. Absolutely. Even despite turning the ball over 2 times. Sean Clifford, in the quarter and a half he's on the field, threw for 146 yards. And again, just a quarter and a half. Offense scored 17 points. There was a lot of hype on this Iowa defense. This Iowa defense, let's call for what it is, when they aren't turning the ball over, is average. This could have been a bloodbath if Sean Clifford didn't get hurt. This would have been a blowout win for Penn State. They still control their fate for the college football playoff. That's why for me this loss doesn't mean much. Same thing now on the flip side for Alabama. They lose to A&M. They lose, unlike Penn State, they lose a division game. The difference, though, and the reason why this loss, similar to the Penn State losing Iowa, doesn't really mean anything for the college football playoff in terms of Alabama, is that A&M already has 2 SEC losses to Arkansas and Mississippi State. So even though they have the tiebreaker over Alabama, you need Alabama to lose another game. I don't know about you. I don't really foresee that happen. Now, look, you could say, I didn't foresee A&M even making this a game, let alone pulling off the upset. Fine. Touche. But so far, Alabama, as long as they run the table similar to Penn State, they are in. And coming out of this game, looking at Alabama, how they played, I don't want to oversimplify, but for me, this was a very un-Alabama-like game where I chalk it up to, honestly, them overlooking A&M. That's what I think this is. Because you had both the offense playing sloppily at times, the defense, can torch at times. There wasn't, I'll say, foundational cracks that have me seriously concerned going forward that this either offense can be exposed or defense can be exposed. This, to me, is like, honestly, college football kids. You're supposed to have Texas A&M. That's supposed to be the biggest test to Alabama this season on the road to College Station. Then you have, right before this game, A&M losing to Arkansas, losing to Mississippi State, and only having the backup quarterback, Zach Calzada, play for most of the year. This, to me, is definitely just a classic case of overlooking your opponent. Nick Saban, basically, his life's work is to make sure you don't get complacent. To me, Alabama looked complacent. Offensively, they left points on the board. You had that massive Bryce Young interception in the end zone that cost Alabama points. Kicked 3 field goals. So again, they were able to move the ball up and down the field for most of the game. You throw a touchdown in the end zone. You kick 3 field goals. There's a lot of points left on the board they could have capitalized on. They scored 38 points, which is crazy. But they still could have scored 45, 48. Left some points on the board.